let's essentially talk about the Canada, Ontario early childhood and childcare agreements, 5-year agreements to reduce daycare fees in the short term, provides $10 a day childcare for Ontario families and create 86,000 new licensed education and daycare spaces across the province. My first question, what is the purpose of this agreement, Ms. Sidhu?
First of all, bom dia, Nuno. This is my first interview after the budget are on the Correio de Mano. I know that this is a Portuguese media. I love Portuguese people. I love Portugal. And I'm very happy to join you again in this New Year budget. It seems that we have a lot to talk about and update your listeners on the recent news. As you said, the childcare. We have very busy week both in Brampton and Ottawa, but I would like to start the update on the budget. And first of all, you said about the childcare. Childcare announcement, it happened in Brampton South. In our riding Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, along with the other minister, they announced the $10 daycare, which is, as you know, childcare is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And this is what we all know. Business know this, people know this, women know this. And this pandemic, it's like we heard loudly. And this is a great deal for all Ontarians, Brampton, where families pay some of the highest childcare, mostly in Brampton, that costs like so much. And as you said, 86,000 childcare spaces. This is something we all need that, it is there. And we are very happy. I know the parents are happy. We all are happy. And this agreement with Ontario is a big step forward, establish Canada-wide childcare that will make more affordable for families, get women back into the workforce, and drive economic growth. $10 a day a childcare. This is win-win for everyone.
Ms. Sidhu, what are the main benefits that this agreement will bring to the economy and the woman's participation in the workforce?
Yes, that's right. And mostly in this year, end of this year, one family in Brampton will save $6,000, which is a lot of money. And by 2026, I know $10 a daycare. So this is something everyone can get that. And I can tell you, by I think March 2026, there's a projected more than $15,000 eligible family can save, and it is a big amount.
Very well. Recently, the government of Canada announced support for skilled newcomers to enter the workforce. How can citizens apply? Can Ukrainians who arrive in the country to flee the war also receive this support?
So, as you know, first of all, my heart goes out to all the Ukrainians, life lost, and we all know it is very tough situation there. And so they are coming to Canada, and Canada is there to support them. And then, you know, on the humanitarian basis, and there's a help out there. And we introduced new programs for Ukrainian nationals, and we are united with Portugal and other democracies in supporting free and independent Ukraine. So this is something is very tragic when we see the horrible the photos coming from there. But I would say the kudo to the bravery of Ukrainian, And on immigration, you asked this and this questions, and there's some programs which will help the Ukraine, and it is some faster programs we are having, and but on the aid side, the humanitarian aid also be there for them.
Very well. The federal government pledges $1.7 billion over 5 years from 22-23 to help make zero-emission vehicles more affordable. Will it be possible to achieve net zero emissions by 2050?
Yes, as you know, increasing climate action incentive payment, which puts more money in the pockets of 8 of every 10 people in the province, which is the federal system applies, and means a family of 4 in Ontario will receive almost $745 for 22-23. You mentioned 1.7 billion over 5 years to extend the incentives for a zero emission vehicle program until March 2025 to help more Canadians get behind the wheel of zero emission vehicles. So, and by end of March 2025. So this is our target. And we also have great news for workers in the auto sector. I know many Portuguese Canadians work in the auto sector,
Yes.
including Brampton, Oshawa, and elsewhere. And we also, our government is committed to make sure Ontario has a thriving auto manufacture sector, where it's the more plants in retooling, the Honda plant in Alliston to make hybrid vehicle, and battery plant in Windsor. So that will employ almost 2,500 people. Ontarians can be assured that our government will continue to ensure the auto sector and their workers are integral to our country. I think we can expect to hear good news in Brampton soon, as we all Brampton MPs are advocating for all the auto workers who are living in Brampton. So stay tuned.
Very well. The federal government has introduced a new bill that includes a proposed distribution of $2 billion to provinces and territories to help alleviate surgery delays caused by COVID-19. With restrictions easing in several provinces, do you feel that action is now needed? And will the $2 billion be needed on top of that with the increase in cases of COVID-19 in Canada?
Exactly. I know that healthcare is one of the most important concern for residents, especially, in all communities, including Portuguese communities. And this is a very important question. So I'm a member of Health Committee in House of Commons, and we heard loudly, the people who has cancer, who has more difficult situation of the backlog of surgery. That is why, even though healthcare delivery comes under provincial jurisdictions, but we know that the healthcare system has experienced strain because of the pandemic. And many Canadians have had to delay non-urgent surgeries and testing. So to help provinces cope with the backlog that this created, we have committed extra $2 billion to help relieve the pressure and reduce waitlist. So Ontario will be getting $775 million of this. This is a federal fund, will help Bramptonian as well. And this is an addition on the top of $4.5 billion we gave earlier in this pandemic to help the provinces to support their hospitals, and $87.6 billion they will get through the major transfer in 22-23, including in $45.2 billion for healthcare. So healthcare is very, very important. And that is the help for healthcare federal gave to the province.
Ms. Sidhu, for my last question, despite $31 billion more in new spending, the 2022 budget has more modest spending plans that analysts predicted. Liberals say they are being fiscally responsible. What does this fiscally responsible mean?
This is a good question, but when people need help, as you said, healthcare, the surgeries are behind, and for the workers, they need help. Women need help, and this is the time to help Canadians. Every step of the way, our federal government was there. As I said, $8 from $10, federal help was there. But because when help much needed, that is what our Prime Minister said. We are there every step of the way for Canadians. Now we need to focus on growth, on targeted important investment to grow our economy while addressing the need of our residents. And this is so important. If we are not helping the Canadians, and we cannot see the growth in the economy. So to grow our economy, this is so important. So that is why we are helping Canadians, and this is much needed us from Canadians. And this is our, our right to protect Canadians, and while we are growing the economy. Through this legislation, our government is taking the next step to invest in people, economic growth, and clean future. Priorities that will create more jobs and prosperity today and build stronger economic future for our coming generation.